Hey guys, Jake with Iron Spear Outfitters. Today we are going to do the first look in to the Maximus antenna, so stay tuned. So, first and foremost, what is the Maximus antenna? The Maximus antenna is an antenna, roughly 20 inches long, that is for your handheld transmitter, your HT radios. So that's going to be your Baofangs, your Anytones, your Motorola's, all that stuff. So adapters sometimes are necessary depending on the connection, but the Maximus antenna is just one of those situations where you want to improve upon what your existing infrastructure. So we're offering a tuned 2 meter and 70 centimeter band antenna that's up armored and made out of almost unbreakable material. So diving into what we're offering here, we have several different colors and variations, and there will be more coming, but these are the first batch that we got out there to show some of the colors. We've got some desert camo, OD green, some black and silver, sniper gray, bit of like a jungle camo, tactical peanut butter for those in the know, and then a newer setup that we just found that is a black and kind of a light dark brown. Let's see if I can get it to focus. Cover. So these are flame retardant armor coatings on top of this. These are weather resistant antennas. So what we do is we go through on these BNC connectors and we up armor them. We give a tactile, get some focus there. You can see the little tactile markings there. Those are actually gripper panels for your BNC connector, and they also help seal that connection there. Not so much seal it as much as just make it more weather resistant, because realistically with a BNC connector or any kind of connector, it's pretty difficult to make them completely watertight, but it does its best to improve upon that. But most of the time your radio itself is not waterproof, so slide down the antenna, you see the top, we cap it, and then we also add a weather resistant band to it. So let me set these down and we'll go over just kind of the finer details. So how we're making these out of nitinol wire. That is a nickel titanium wire. It's pretty much unbreakable. So if you want to store the antenna, you can do so pretty easily, and goes back to being straight every time, no matter how much you bend it. Under extreme cold, like minus 10, minus 20, you can at times get these to go a little limp. Those are pretty extreme conditions. If you end up having that ever happening, you can put it in your freezer, bring it out while it's cold, set it on a flat surface, let it cool, let it warm to room temperature, and it will actually straighten back out. It's pretty cool. Nitinol was actually developed by NASA in the 60s for some space exploration stuff. Pretty cool stuff. Now it's used from everything from knives, which we've done through Jayco Knives and Hoback Customs as a SM100, which is a version of Nitinol 60. And then also through your sunglasses, your unbreakable prescription glasses, things like that. Anything that needs to have a memory elasticity. Pretty cool material. Very difficult to work with. It's really hard on your clippers when you're trying to cut this stuff, because nickel is actually a pretty hard material when you mix it with titanium. So going over what we did to improve upon a handheld antenna. One, basically indestructible. We have two different versions. We have a 2 millimeter wire, internal wire version, and we have a 1.5 millimeter wire internal wire. Excuse me, tongue's not working. you're going to get a little bit more flexibility out of the 1.5. A little more wobbly. And then you get into the, let me grab one of the thicker wire here. Get into the thicker wire. They don't wobble quite as much, but they are a little bit more difficult to bend, so it depends on what you're after. If you're looking for getting one for the utmost in flexibility, the 1.5 is the way to go. If you're looking for just super indestructible, you like super beefy stuff, the 2mm is the way to go. The armor stays the same, and our process for making it stays the same. We just offer the 2 different size wires so that you can choose what works best for your situation, or buy both. So into the weatherproofing, we go through and we don't just shrink tube the wire and crimp a connection on here. We actually solder all of our connections instead of crimp. It's a better connection. It's going to give you a better signal. We also come through, and when we do the shrink tubing to do the initial upsizing of the wire itself so that we can have something that's a little more robust, we actually use 3 layers of 2-layer shrink tube, which has got a glue built into the internal layer. That's your second layer of the shrink tube. So when we heat this up, there's actually a glue that glues itself to the wire, and then the additional layers glue themselves to the previous layers so that they are one piece, so to speak. That gives you some weatherproofing because it's all like nice and soft glue, and then it hardens back up. It still remains flexible. Then we put the armor coating on here. It's a plastic coating. Let me see if I can zoom in there. You can see it's an expandable mesh down to the end cap, which is glued on, and then we add a piece of clear glued shrink tube. Then we also seal the top of the BNC connector with the armored connection, and then add our logo shrink tube. That's the first look into the Maximus antenna. It's a 2-meter, 70 centimeter, which is 144 to 440 band. Those are your 2 bands that they work best in. They actually work pretty well in just about all the bands throughout. So if you've got a Bofang, or you got some other kind of inexpensive radio, you add an adapter to the end of the BNC connector, you plug this into your radio, and you will get better, more clear audio, which is super important because oftentimes the little rubber ducky that comes on, say a Bofang or a small handheld transmitter, is garbage. You're going to get terrible connectivity between the 2 radios, and the transmission is going to not sound so great. So add one of these antennas if you want clearer audio. We're also offering antenna relocation kits here very shortly. They are on the R&D table now, and the boys are putting them together. And we're also going to be offering a mounting solution for an antenna on a relocation kit, and we are offering them for the 915 megahertz band for our Gorilla Comms radio. So check it out. They're up on the website now, www.ironspearoutfitters.com. Follow us on Instagram and our YouTube channel. Check us out. Thanks for following. Appreciate it, guys.